Hey everyone, very warm welcome to Satsang today. Guru Srimati Baba ki Jai. Suppose that it's too simple. Suppose that it's too simple was not a problem. Suppose it is the best news you heard. It's just too simple. Simpler than anything that you have ever done. Simpler than any thought. Simpler than any emotion. Simpler than any event. Whatever that event might be. Doesn't need a step in any direction. It is naturally here. I exist. I am. How hard did you have to work to exist? What are the steps you had to follow to exist? Nothing. It is the most natural. And this existence is complete. There is nothing missing in this. So before you can put on the trench coat of the detective to go looking for the self, I'm going to go looking for the self. I'm going to find the self here or there. It is worthwhile to investigate who is going to put on that trench coat. Who is going to take on the seeker mask? What is naturally here before you intend to find the self? Are you not the self? Before you intend to complete yourself, you are complete. Taste yourself in this moment. Taste your existence. Taste your presence. This nobody has done. You see? The existence is not a product of somebody doing something. That is why the truth cannot be done. The truth can also not be found. It can just be recognized. And you cannot move from the truth. You can only pretend as if I can move. So let's say for a moment that this existence is I am. Don't worry, if it doesn't make sense, it's fine. We're just playing with this for a moment. This existence is the sense I am. Now, in this moment, are you something before a concept comes, before a thought comes, before an idea comes? Are you something? Do you have a boundary? Sensations will come. Events will happen. Perception will happen. Sounds are coming. Traffic noise is there. How does that affect the I am, your being? Now, this existence has been misunderstood and believed to be the existence of a person. This is the basic misunderstanding. You exist right here completely naturally. You are not a person. You see? This, if you see this even just now, nothing really more to say. Can it be that it is this very same consciousness which has been playing around with ideas about itself and now is ready to drop all these ideas about itself? When is this happening? It's happening now. How do you, consciousness, want to play in this instant? As Bhagwan said, there are only two parts, two ways to play this game. With the notion about yourself or without a notion about yourself. With the concept of your limitation or without a concept of your limitation. You see, just because you believe yourself to be the seeker doesn't make you one. Just like if you started to pretend to be Sherlock Holmes or the Pink Panther or something like that, will you become one? You can only play as if you are. You are the self alone. Only the self is. And this is your truth right now. Don't have to go anywhere. Wherever you might feel you are going, you are only the self. That's why I've been asking over the last few days, what are you representing? When you say I, who do you represent? With integrity, bring this answer to your light. I've been advising all of you, say I, say to yourself I, and see what you are representing. Are you representing the group of sensations that you call the body? Are you representing the group of sensations that you call your relationships? Who does I represent? And maybe today I'm ready to hear some report about this. Not a report, just some response to this. Who does I represent for you? You can type it out in the chat or you can speak it up here if you're sitting here. When you say I, what are you pointing to?
Father, can I speak?
Yes.
Okay. So this has been really helpful, Father, to see where the I lands.
Yeah.
I think you did this like 2 or 3 days ago. And so far, till that point, it was the eye has been landing on this full basket of everything, you know. It's that was I till that day, yeah. But as I'm looking, I'm aware of what I have called I for so long.
Yes.
It's not that it makes it easier.
Well, it kind of does.
It does. But you know what I mean. So it's almost like learning to walk. And for the first time, few days ago, maybe 2 days ago, I can say that first of all that there is nobody else here, so it has to be I. What knows everything has to be I. There's no, you know, because I know directly, Father, what I'm seeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. And yet it is not that I we have considered ourselves to be.
Yes, it is not that I, and the mind tries to find this I. The
Yes.
mind is trying to pick this I, and that is so. It's happening all day long, Father. It's almost like it's happening all day long.
So you
But
said very
anything I see cannot be I. Anything I see cannot be I. It's not possible for I to see itself in that sense.
yes, as something.
Yeah, it's just there. And the thing is that there is awareness of everything effortlessly.
Yes.
The only effort there is A, trying not to believe it, or to believe it, otherwise it's just there, you know. It's just but I'll be honest, Father, it, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying.
That is on. You said that we did this exercise about where does the I land. So, and that's why I was saying, say to yourself I, and see if it lands. So, does it land on an island? Is there an island for I? Is there a set of things which I is? Or does it land on this shoreless ocean, as Ashtavakra said? You're beyond all boundaries. So even the shoreless ocean, of course, is just metaphorical.
Yes.
So
So when the I is said, Father, when the I is said, there is a body reaction that comes up and says, "This is I." It's there. So in a sense, yes, the island sensation is there. It
Yes.
comes up because that is like a it's a habit that's been there forever. You know, it's a habit. But what is clear when you say I, I sees the saying of I.
Yes. So let's
It's
go
it's
slowly.
huh,
Go
huh,
slowly. You say that the body sensations are there. Is
hmm,
it? Now the question is that all that is there?
no,
Okay, what else is there?
Father, there is this little scene. I'll call it little. I don't mean it with offense, but when I say I, I'm already before the saying of the I,
Yes.
right? Um,
So we were talking about the body sensations,
right.
and when you say I, then these body sensations they seem to come up to try and represent I, maybe in a way. Is it? But is that what you are, or is there something else there?
So the sensations cannot be who I am, Father. That seems. I don't know if it is intuitively known or intellectually known, but it can't be who I am. Yeah. I can't tell you who I am. I don't. I can't tell you, but
Yes. What else is there
nobody else.
besides
So
the body sensations? What else is there?
body, feelings, emotion. I'm just calling it one basket, Father. So far, I has landed on this big basket
Yes, big basket.
all along. You know, it can be body today, it can be money tomorrow, it can be relationship, it can be children, it can
Yeah,
be any thought. So I lands on me. In a sense, any thought I am identifying as me
very
is
good.
where the I lands at that point, Father.
Very good. So now, is there something which can never go in that big basket?
Yes, I can't go.
I can't go.
Yeah.
If you can't go, then can you have a problem?
Um, I'll talk from direct experience, Father. What happens? Okay, problem is your problem. You figure it out. It's not my problem. Um, so I think basically where the fight is, Father, is an addiction to calling every sensation, every object, this me is just a. If the mind is saying no, 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 you can't be that. That's it, Father. There is no other problem. There is
So,
absolutely no other problem other than the thing. But I have to say, Father, it takes a lot of inquiry, it takes a lot of surrender, it takes a lot of prayer every day, all the time. um, it does.
to see that whatever might have been the situation, whatever might have been the events, whatever expression of this devotion also that might have come through inquiry, devotion, surrender, prayer, all this has happened. But has all of that happened inside the basket or outside the basket?
Inside the basket.
All of this has also been only inside the basket. Now
Yeah.
this is happening, and this crying is another set of sensations, isn't it?
Yes, 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 yes.
Visual perception, sensory perception. You see, a set of sensations which the mind can take on, and it can say that it is happening to me. But we found that the real I. Why do we call it the real I? Because that is the I which remains unchanging.
Yes.
The unchanging I is never in the basket of these sensations. It is aware of them, but awareness is never hurt by them. So this is the switch over from calling something in the basket I. That's why Guruji calls it the chameleon. The label which is the chameleon, which is I, has been using as if it is this body. You see, the representative, the mind of this limited I has been selling this story that I am inside the basket and all this is happening to me. But when you, as you're checking now, you're seeing that I remain untouched. These sensations are there, they come and go. Now, if a set of sensations are there and they can't really hurt you, would you call them troublesome? Okay. Because we cannot call them troublesome unless they can hurt me in some way. That's why we call it the play, the leela.
The only voice that gets hurt, and it's I mean I'm looking at it closely, is the me, Father. It's just the voice of the me. There is no other problem.
Yes. Now the good news is that as you start this moment, there is no basket. There is nothing in the basket of conditioning. Imagine, you see, as some spiritual paths suggest, that you have to dig into this basket of conditioning and pluck every condition out one by one. How much of a task that would be? But you're finding now that we are empty of all of this naturally. And as we're seeing this more and more, then over the period of time, we're also seeing that the magnetism of these concepts, the magnetism of these conditions is also reducing. You see, just like when we were younger, then maybe the idea of a Hot Wheels car, these dinky cars, I don't know what you used to call them, but we used to call them dinky cars, was very appealing here. I wanted the latest Hot Wheels models whenever they came into the shops. You see, it was very appealing. But we outgrew them. You see, like girls, um, many times they like to play with these doll houses and Barbie dolls and things like that. Of course, guys can also do that easily. But we've outgrown them. Same way, we outgrown these limited ideas about ourselves. And that's why I come to you every day to show you that it is possible to continue this worldly existence, apparent worldly existence, without holding on to any notion about yourself. Yeah? Still on my tantrum or? It's completely possible for life to continue as it is. Because right now, as you are empty of a notion, life is continuing on. Hearing these
Absolutely. Yes.
words to come. I'm telling you that these words are coming. I'm also telling you that there was a belief at one point of time before I met Guruji that I was speaking these words.
Hmm.
Now they are just seen to be coming. Just like the hearing is happening, the speaking happens. The listening happens. There has never been an individual doer of them. There's only been an idea.
Hmm.
So this entire spiritual journey is just from coming from I am something to just I am. It's a big task. It is all about just dropping this something idea. whatever, no matter how glorious that idea is, it is not worth it. I'm the best person. I'm an enlightened man. I'm whatever. No idea is worth it. No nothing that you can have about yourself is worth it. Now notice the offers from your mind. The other day I called the mind a position machine. It is giving you an offer of a position. Usually in satsang, the position it wants to take is that of a but, that outer position. Yes, Father, but I am not there yet. But I am saying every day, but you are only that. But when the mind comes and makes this offer, I am not God yet. I am not consciousness yet. This is the habit. So when Krishna spoke about the habit, this is what we are talking about. Now, if it was not a habit, we just needed to have one satsang. The reason why we have everyday satsang Monday to Friday is because of this habit. To believe this doubter in our mind, which is saying, I am not there yet. Or I finally got it. Or I am getting it so well. You see, all these reports again are painting you as if you are a limited entity. You are not that. You are not in this time. You are not in this space. All of these are just sensations that you are experiencing, that you are aware of. Nothing contains you. You contain all and yet remain untouched. What must you be? Sometimes because we repeat these words so often, we forget what the pointing is to. What must you be? You contain all and remain untouched. Ashtavakra said, you are the shoreless ocean. He was not fooling around. He meant it beyond all boundaries. But there are two pieces of good news. One is that in this moment you are empty of conditions. Till you target one leaf of the condition, then there seems to be the whole tree comes back. You see? And the second is that as you are empty of any notion about yourself, the truth is apparent to you. Whether your mind admits it or not, the truth does not have to be found, it is apparent. You are aware of your existence. You see? But the truth is not even these words. We can point to that in some of these words which seem very direct. But as you are experiencing yourself without a notion, the truth of yourself is already recognized. Nothing you have to do about it. So most of the struggle is to try and convince the mind that this is it. We're trying to struggle to convince the mind I am free, trying to convince the mind I have seen it, I have recognized. Forget it. Don't convince your mind about anything at all. Don't wait for the mind certificate. I am giving you the certificate. Why you want certificate from the mind? You are complete, fully full. Whatever you can be, whatever you will always ever be, is already here now. You are all there is. I can really get this printed and signed and send to each of you. You are all there is. What are you waiting for the mind? How do I know this? Because I am you. We are one. And I am all there is. And I am able to speak these words because even here, there was a time where these set of sensations, which are experienced as the body, was labeled as I or me. You have never found a me in them. It has just been a presumption. And unless you pick up an idea about yourself, unless you pick up the notion I am something, you cannot suffer. So the notion I am something is suffering. It is said that the Buddha said the world is suffering. Samsara is suffering. And that is the usual case. Because we have played with the world as if I am something. Now let the world be. Just be I am. Show me how you can suffer without a notion. This is how you transcend the identity, you transcend the world. What does it say in the scriptures? Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. And say I am becoming Brahman. Tattvamasi. That you are. Are they saying that you will become? That you are. Who are they speaking to? You. Who is speaking? You. That's why both are there. I am that and you are that. Same thing. That is why this is the inquiry. Where does the I land? What does the I represent? Are you still waiting for some experience? Forget about it. Keep waiting for some awakening experience to happen. Then when the awakening experience happens, then you'll get attached to that also. And then when it goes away, you'll say, I lost my freedom. So it's not about any experience. Experiences can happen. You don't have to look down upon them. You can even have a sense of joy about them. But nothing is a prerequisite for your existence right now. And this existence is all there is. You have no boundary. All limitations are imagined. All limitations are concepts.
Father, sometimes I don't understand everything you say. I have to be honest, but there's just so much trust in your words, and there's no. Yeah, I think that's the word, Father. Is just trust in what you say.
This is very helpful. Trust makes us a bit open to what is being shared. Many times I said that you don't have to believe anything that I'm saying, but you do have to be open enough to inquire into it. So if we just closed and you know it is just something is being said, but I'm not going to look at. I'm not even open to the possibility that this could be true. Then it takes some pushing, prodding.
Can I ask a question, Father? Can I ask a question? Um, so just how it seems to play out here, Father, the seeing, the that all appearances are so instant and effortless
Yes,
that the seer is forgotten or the seeing is forgotten. In a sense, it seems like that, Father. You know, although the seeing cannot be forgotten because then none of it would exist. Because without the seeing, how would anything even be there? You know, without the eye. So the eye is always there.
maybe we can clarify some definition first, so
Yes,
that we are.
please.
So, what do you mean by seeing when you say seeing?
Okay, so awareness is so transparent, and the eye has no attribute, right? So it's like the air is so transparent that when we look at a box or furniture, we ignore the air, Father.
Yes,
You know, in the sense that that to me seems like what, like, because it is so effortless and so without any attribute that content becomes the me.
yes,
You know, but when you really look, there has to be an eye to know the content,
yes,
including the belief, including the
yes,
suffering. The eye is irrespective of the suffering.
yes, exactly.
You know, but the focus goes on the black dot on the wall, you know.
So that is attention.
Yes, and
Attention till
belief. Yeah.
so that is attention. Now, what is attention reporting back to? Who is attention bringing this content to?
It's sorry, I was mute and I was talking. I'm sorry.
Yes.
The attention is reporting to awareness, Father. Awareness knows that, and then somehow consciousness picks it up and does something with it.
Actually, here is where the lines between the dynamic aspect of the self, which is consciousness, and the non-dynamic, the nominal aspect of it, which we call awareness, start to fade away. Isn't it?
Yes, can't tell.
But that which is aware of even attention and the content of attention, that remains unchanging, whether there is attention on something or not. Is it? So, if seeing then means this process of watching, perceiving, using attention, is it? Then there's a bigger seeing with a capital S, which is aware of this, which remains untouched, unchanged, whether there is content which is seen or there is no content which is seen. Whether it is the waking state in which all this play of phenomenality is happening, or the sleep state in which there is nothing. You are that which is the substratum of all of these states and yet remain completely untouched by them. You see? Whether attention is on a thought or whether there is nothing to perceive, the space between thoughts. You see? This awareness is not coming and going with the perception of something. Okay, I'm going to catch up with a bit of the chat. Shanti says, I recognize the truth of I, but play with belief of who I am not. Yes. When this play gets too painful for me, yes, in quotes, or other, this is the opportunity to look at the source and to rest here in peace. I play as I am not and remain I. Very good. Yes. Usually it is this suffering which seems to be the trigger in this play to look at what we really are. Someone said knowing or awareness of the sensations. Yes. Knowingness or awareness. Ophelia says, I am without form and cannot describe myself, but it never lasts for a long time. I am without form and cannot describe myself, but it never lasts for a long time. As soon as a thought appears, attention goes there, and I take myself to be a person again. There is Ophelia. Okay. Does your mic work, my dear?
Yes.
I don't know. Okay, say something.
Yeah, what is the question?
I was just asking if your mic works, so apparently it does.
If it's the mind.
The microphone?
It's on now. Yeah.
Yes, it's working. It's working. That was the question.
Okay.
Microphone is working. So you said, I am without form and cannot describe myself. Now, that which is formless, can that come and go?
No.
So only that which has form can come and go. So even if attention goes on some form, what happened to that which was formless?
Nothing.
Never went anywhere. Is it? In fact, it is this attention which is reporting back to this formless itself. There is never form without this formlessness. But formlessness can be without form. So the idea that I have to keep my attention on that which is the formless, that we can leave. Because it can give us, in satsang, we might pick up the idea that I just have to keep my attention on this formless side. This is not true. If this was the requirement, then the waking state would not show up at all. As long as the waking state does show up, attention will go to form. But in the attention going to form, nothing happens to you. You see? The dynamic, the manifest aspect can be going with full force. A lot of things can be happening in it, but nothing happened to the reality of you. It is only when we believe an interpretation about it from our mind that it should not be this way or it should be some way. That is when trouble comes. So I want to free from this concept which can be very, very strong. It can give you the idea that I have to do something. Is it? No, it is not true. Attention is free to go wherever it wants. Nothing happened to the formless part of you. You are always there. Try it now. Let your attention go anywhere. What happened to you?
Difficult for me to be aware of myself as the formless, as I truly am, and to put my attention on something else. As soon as the attention goes to the chair, I don't know, there is a duality, there is a sensation, the body and the chair.
Yes. Okay, let me, because this is a common confusion also that comes in satsang. Now you are already aware of yourself. You always have been. Okay, so you don't have to do the being aware of myself. It is only that you have been believing yourself to be something that you are not.
Okay.
Once that is taken away, you don't have to be aware of the formlessness. You already are. Awareness never forgot itself. If awareness forgot itself, we are all in trouble. You see, then there is no hope. So awareness has always been self-aware. Nobody taught us to be aware. You see, awareness never forgot itself. Awareness, playing in its dynamic aspect, then started to consider itself to be something limited, a body-mind. Only this conception has to be dropped away. Nothing you have to do. You don't have to, because that sounds like very split attention in some ways. Half of my attention is just here, and the other half is going in the interaction with the world. No. We can completely be engaged. Like right now, this attention is completely engaged with you. And yet awareness is not forgotten itself.
But there's still this strong belief that I am something limited, that I am this body also. So
Yeah.
how can I drop this belief, this idea, you know?
Yeah. Now, this belief which you said 1 second ago is very strong is already gone. I'm not doing word play. I'm telling you something which is very true. It is already gone. But the mind will come and offer it to you again.
Yes,
You
that's
see?
it.
What do you do with that offer? Just let it come and go. It will say, no, but it is too strong. It is just a thought,
Yes.
not strong. It is just how the mind has retained its power by convincing us of these ideas. That's why I've been telling you that the best news is that you don't have to do the cleanup job of conditioning. You have the best cleaning lady in the world. That cleaning lady is God. You did the job. You are completely clean in this moment. You're done. Now, you see? Now, if you pick up one leaf from the tree of conditioning, it can feel like the whole tree comes back. But even if that happens, what is the good news? That in this moment it is all gone again. So it is the mind which has the struggle. The mind has the difficult job. For consciousness, it is super simple. Unless it believes otherwise. Whatever your strongest concepts might have been, in this moment you are fresh, free from all of them. But the mind will come with a but and say, but it can't be so simple, but it can't be so easy. These kind of things. And that is why I have satsang every day to remind you that whatever the but might be is not true. You have no work. Deal with that. That can be a bit of a struggle for a seeker to be told there is nothing to do. You see? Okay, then does this mean I'm free? No. Does this mean I'm not free? No. Does this mean there is no meaning about any of those terms because the one that was wrong is not found. You see? So for too long, we have played, God had played as a person trying to find God. Now that first mask itself is dropped away. In this moment, you are open, free, complete, done, certified. I can just sign it and send it. You can play as if you are not. If you believe a but, and that is also the play of consciousness. As long as consciousness wants to play like that, it will. Even then, there is nothing for you to do except come to satsang. Very good. I'm glad we had this conversation.
Me too.
Sometimes to speak like this makes it very clear sometimes. Very good. Prisha said, have to go. Registration for Lisboa is up in a few minutes. Okay. All of you, please, if you want to register, please go now. I don't want you to miss the registration and say, Father, I was in your satsang. That is priority number one. All of you that have the feeling to register for Guruji's retreat, please, you can go and come back or however it flows. Claire said, something you showed me this week is that everything phenomenal, like things heard and things seen, arise in oneness with hearing and seeing. They are automatic, natural. And then that the idea I and concepts arise together too, yes. It's like the idea I is wrapped in the concepts. It was then so apparent that this is all just happening, but nothing to do with who we really are. This beautiful report. Everything phenomenal, like things heard and things seen, arise in oneness with hearing and seeing. They are automatic, natural. There is no distinction between perceiving and the perception itself. You see, that's what she's saying. And then that the idea I and concepts arise together too. Yes. It's like this idea is wrapped in the concepts. It was then so apparent that this is all just happening, but it has nothing to do with who we really are. Very good. Another one who sent me privately, so I'm not taking her name, is saying, thank you, Father. I've never ever had a spiritual experience or dream or vision of any kind. So this frees up all the expectation. Nothing you need, nothing. To exist right now is effortless. And this existence is all there is. You see? Jyotima says, it feels like the attention reports to the me, but when me is questioned, then you recognize there is silence. Yes. Nothing can report to the non-existent one. The me is just a notion. It's like saying, like we've been using this detective example today somehow. So if you believe that you are Sherlock Holmes, then would you say that your attention is reporting to Sherlock Holmes? You would not, because just a belief doesn't make it so. Nancy says, it is seen by my mind that I am using it to figure out consciousness. I am not that. Best to remain quiet. Very good. We cannot, that's why I've been saying, we cannot solve this like an equation. Our intellect will not reach it. Our reasoning will not reach it. Our concepts will not reach it. Our perceptions will not reach it. You see? So if you're looking at for it like an object and you feel like with perception you will find it one day the self, this is the self. No. Not with attention, not with perception. If you feel like one day you will figure out the equation like Eureka, Archimedes in the bathtub shouting, Eureka, Eureka, I figured it out. No. It will not be something that you compete, that you compute. Eureka. This is a very useful discovery because many are trying to compute it, you see. You feel like just by asking yourself, who am I? You will sort it like some mathematical equation. It doesn't happen like that. It is not for that. Shanti says, it just occurred here that nothing was ever taught. It would appear that these habits have developed over time, but it is just something coming up now. Very good. The delusion is that something learned has to be unlearned. Yes, that also is part of the delusion. Very good. Because we cannot really say that there has been a past at all. Memory is the most unreliable tool. Like I say, we don't start a dream and we don't start every dream saying that, oh, I have amnesia, who are all of you? We still seem to remember those people we meet in a dream. You see? So the functioning of memory is just completely a play of consciousness. So all this play of time and space, ultimately, you see that is nothing but a play of light and sound happening within you. The delusion is that something learned has to be unlearned, yes, which is played at, but in reality, there is only this. It is simpler than simple. Very good. Prakash, you're typing also, you're here also. The notion I is our operating system. It has to be overwritten by your grace operating system. I am helpless, not able to delete your own operating system, our own operating system. At your feet, please rewrite as you like. Yes, this much is enough. If you have dropped the pen in your story, nothing. I have a question whether they can meet me in Bangalore. They are in Bangalore at the moment. Let me know if it is fine. Yes, my dear. You're welcome to join Satsang. So you sent me a request on Facebook. I'll have somebody respond to you on that. I said, Baba, I had some state emotion. Today, I kept budging them. Please, by your grace, empower me to face them when they come again. Just know that the best thing about being able to call someone father or Baba is that everything is their problem now. If you have even a little bit of reverence for anything, then you can safely surrender everything to them. Then you say that when these situations happen, you're right. No dodging them, no emotion to be denied, no tough state to be denied. Bring it on. I'm here with you. Let's see what they will take away. Let's see what they'll hurt. Dear Father, thank you for being always here. Your presence is always felt. Not even questions are relevant. It is enough. Go at your feet. Thank you for, Ellen says, thank you, Father, for dissolving the mind clouds with such clarity. Welcome. Love you too. Can't wait to be there. But exams just won't end. They'll end. I'm glad I've been taking reports about you, my dear, and I'm happy to hear that the body is feeling much better now. Good. And next one, Gautami is saying, thank you. The health and well-being of this body is your problem. Love you. Let me see you. Where are you, my dear? Oh, there you are. So good. Just like the other day, you were just here in the same room with me. As you're sitting now there, it just doesn't feel like you're there. Everything is taken care of. He's taking. Love you, love you, love you. Love you all so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
Sadhguru Shri Ananta-Ji ki Jai.